Hey, good afternoon, and here we go. The Modern Eater Show continues. It is a Thursday, and it's May 14th right here. And if this is the first time you've tuned into the Modern Eater Show, we welcome you and thank you for tuning in. Obviously, share and like if you enjoy this broadcast. Big show for you today, and we're going to cover a lot of ground. In the next hour, Julia Herz is going to join us from the Brewers Association. Larry Herz, I don't think so anyway, Jay. No relationship to Julia.
No, just coincidence.
To Herz on. Larry Herz is going to be on as well from OCN Eats. He's going to bring in Jed Levin from the Piper Inn. Can't wait to catch up with Jed, and Dr. Sara Metz will join us as well. Erik Riggs from Freshcraft will be on at about 2:30 talking about the Grubhub brush-up and what Grubhub is being alleged allegations of misconduct and
they're doing some goofy,
taking business away.
Goofy things they're doing.
So we'll check in with that. But right now, Karen's Cafe and Stephanie's Bar and Grill in Calhan, east of Colorado Springs, has been serving people in-house since May 6th. El Paso County Public Health has issued a cease and desist order, but the restaurant remains open. There may be some breaking news today, though. But let's go to Calhan, Colorado right now and welcome Karen Starr from Karen's Cafe and Stephanie Carter from Stephanie's Bar to the Modern Eater Show. Hello and welcome.
Hello. Hey, how are you?
Well, it looks like you're working hard right now.
Yes.
Good to see a busy kitchen for sure. Just before the show started, there may be a special announcement that you guys want to make. Is that true? Did you hear from the county commissioner?
Karen did hear from the county commissioner. What did they say?
They said that they, I guess from what I understood, is that they passed that El Paso County restaurants are going to be open at half capacity.
And when?
What's that?
When's that?
I'm not. Everybody's been telling me they're saying that now, so I'm just waiting for confirmation on that.
Yeah, I haven't heard that yet either, but that's an interesting twist, right?
I was on the line today.
The orders are coming in, and again, we're at Karen's Cafe, Calhan, Colorado. We're in the restaurant now and getting a little tour of what's going on here. Interesting seeing the setup, and it's been so long since we've been in a restaurant dining room. You guys are open right now. Is Karen there?
She is. She's on the line.
Karen's the one on the grill.
And Stephanie's
Yep,
where?
she's on the grill. Stephanie is over here wiping down some menus.
Oh, okay, cool. Hey, Stephanie, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Oh, doing well, too. Thanks for checking in with us today. I want to dig in a little bit under the new news, and I'm not sure that hasn't been verified on our end yet. That would be a great win, obviously, if that's true, hearing from the county commissioner's office that you're able to do business at half capacity. But since May 6th, you've been doing business at half capacity.
Absolutely. We have.
We were, yes, when we reopened for dine-in, it was at half capacity. We didn't want to poke the bear or risk people, so we took out seating and tables and went down to half capacity. And for the most part, people have been fine if there's a wait time. They're just happy to be able to go out and exercise their freedom to choose again.
Yeah. So why did you open up? And why was May 6th the date for you? And why didn't you just remain open the whole time? Why did you ever close down?
So initially, when the governor came out and said, this is for everybody's health and safety, we need you to change your way of doing things completely. We said, we care about lives. We care about safety. Absolutely. So we did it for the initial 2 weeks. And then it came out, well, there's a 2-week incubation period, so we actually need 2 more weeks. And we're like, okay, that's understandable. We'll do that. And then we were at about 7 weeks, and every other type of business was being allowed to open except restaurants and bars. So we decided that it didn't feel like it was about safety anymore. We can legitimately clean after every single customer that's in here, which is not something that every big box store or crowded grocery store can say. And we felt that it didn't feel like it was about safety anymore. It felt like it was targeted and more about what the government could continue to control. And when it didn't feel like it was about safety anymore, that's when we decided it was probably time to stand up for our rights. We have the right to congregate. We have the right to, Stevens! We have the right to go to work and provide for our families. We have the right to choose how we conduct ourselves within reason. And there is nothing unlawful happening in our restaurant. We are serving good food to great people, and that's pretty much how it is. Did I answer all the questions?
Oh, you're doing just fine, and again, thank you for taking the time. Let's just jump in. So, at this point in time, you believe that there is no public health concerns on your part?
No, but we believe that there's an inherent risk in anything. If I get in a vehicle, I could accidentally cause an accident, or I could be involved in an accident that I don't cause. There's risk involved in everything, but the shutdowns didn't feel like they were focused on health and safety anymore. We had flattened the curve. We had achieved flattening the curve. The hospitals are not overrun with COVID cases. I speak regularly to nurses and doctors that are our customers or just our supporters, and they're saying we are not overrun in the hospitals. We have had time to restock. This is not. Thank you. We don't understand why the shutdowns are continuing as they are.
What's your best guess? And again, in Calhan, Colorado, we're joined right now. Stephanie is with us. What's your best guess on why, on a state level, that they're dragging their heels on reopening restaurants?
I can't really speak to their motivation. I don't understand it, and they couldn't give us a good answer either.
So you believe that COVID-19 exists. This isn't one of those things to where you firmly believe that this is a conspiracy. You believe it exists, but you believe you're doing everything that it would take to open a restaurant safely, and collectively in Calhan, Colorado, all of the restaurants are open. When you mentioned we, collectively, who's that we that you've been working with?
We opened at the same time with Western Omelet, another small Western Omelet 3, specifically, another small restaurant out here in Calhan. We've all distanced tables and cut down our capacity and exercising all the precaution that we feel that we can.
Were you afraid of repercussions from the state level with your business license, or even at the bar with your liquor license?
We know that that's a possibility, but so far we haven't had any issues. The health department wants to further educate us, and that was the last word that we got from them. We have been speaking with a constitutional attorney to make sure that we weren't doing anything unlawful, and we're not. So could there be consequences? Absolutely. Will we argue that we were within our rights and abiding by the Constitution as far as how we opened and what we were doing? Absolutely.
When you see CNC and Castle Rock and what they've done and the video that you're seeing there, you guys are, spacing it out and physically distancing from one another inside of your restaurant. Why not take that approach of just opening at 100% like we saw at CNC?
Like I said, we didn't want to poke the bear. We are trying to be conscious of health concerns and people's safety. Thank you, guys. We clean not only the table, but the chairs after every patron, whether you use those chairs or that side of the booth or not. If condiments hit your table, they don't wind up on another table. They get tossed. Is it a little wasteful? Is it a little costly? Yes, but is safety more important? Absolutely.
How are you guys doing business-wise? Is the community receptive of coming back in? Do they feel good? Do everybody feel safe? What's the feedback that you've gotten?
For the most part, yes. We've seen most of our regulars already come back. And the ones that aren't ready to come back, we respect that as well. This is all about having a choice in the safest way possible. Some of our customers are high risk and aren't ready to go out in public again. We understand and respect that.
I tell you
So
what, Cal,
we've had an outpouring of support. We've had people come from Colorado Springs and Manitou Springs and even farther to come and show their support for what we're doing.
is that a little worrisome to have, how about your community there in Calhan? Have there been any cases of COVID?
The last report I saw yesterday said El Paso County, out of the 12 out of the last 17 days, has not had any new deaths and no new hospitalizations. As far as we know, we don't have any reported cases in Calhan right now.
What about liability? Opening up beforehand and maybe somebody does get sick, an employee, a customer, traced back to your business. Are you prepared for that liability standpoint?
Well, that would be something we'd have to dig into further. It is enter at your own risk. This is a choice. If we had an employee become sick, we would absolutely close and quarantine ourselves. So far, that hasn't happened, but that's pretty much all I'm willing to say at this time on that.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you. How about your employees? Has everybody come back to work? I'm assuming they got the choice to come back to work, right?
Oh, absolutely. We have an employee that isn't ready to come back until next month, and we are completely fine with that. We're not pressuring. Again, it's a choice. If you're ready to come back to work, and most of our employees were 100%. They were like, absolutely, we're ready. We're past ready to be working again. And those that weren't, that was okay too. We're not forcing this on anybody, customers, employees, anyone.
What about other restaurateurs or restaurant owners that are doing what they believe to be the right thing by staying shut down? Do you have any words for those folks?
That's their choice. This is all about having the right to choose how you conduct yourself in your business. We believe that we are doing things in the safest way possible. Mm-hmm. And if other businesses aren't ready for that, or that's not how they feel, then they have the right to choose that as well for themselves.
A lot of folks may say, gosh, we're doing all of the things the right way and we're listening or playing by the rules and we're suffering as well, but we believe in lawfulness and order. Again, I think there might be a few people that are just struggling with, well, why do you feel that you're an exception to any rules that are out there right now?
So first of all, I'd like to be clear. We are not doing anything unlawful. According to our constitutional attorney, there is nothing unlawful going on here. We are conducting ourselves in a way that is completely within what is allowed. The governor has overreached. At least that's how we feel.
Yeah.
It was past time to start implementing some safe path to normalcy again.
So normalcy, that's a restaurant that's working at full capacity. You can have that dine-in experience again. Will you be cutting your own road as you move forward to saying, well, this is when we'll open up at 100%, even though that it's not allowed, or will you follow? What do you feel obligated to follow at this point in time?
We'll have to look at that when the time comes. Right now, we're completely comfortable and feel safe operating at half capacity. That is how we're keeping our customers safe. If there's a wait, then there's a wait.
Is that financially working out for you? Is this a financially viable model that you're working with right now?
It's better than takeout and delivery only.
It is. It's better than takeout and delivery only, and our customers don't seem to mind waiting for a table or waiting for us to clean the tables and chairs. They understand that we're doing this for their safety. And For the time being, we're going to stay at half capacity. And we don't believe that we have any rights that anyone else doesn't. This is America. We all have the same rights. If you don't feel safe going out, then don't go out. If all of the precautions and the quarantine work perfectly, then you can choose to stay quarantined for longer. But that doesn't get to dictate everyone else's choice. We feel that we flatten the curve and we're being as safe as possible.
No, I hear you. So moving forward within your community there, I'm sure everybody knows everybody, right? How many people are in Calhan?
Within the town limits, I believe it's somewhere between 600 and 800 people.
Not many at all. So everybody knows everybody's business. How about the local officials? Are police and sheriff, are they coming in to dine, or are they staying away and walking that line? Or talk to me about what the mayor thinks. And
the mayor was here the day that we opened. She said that she personally supports our small businesses being able to operate in some capacity. Businesses can't continue to operate the way they were. 90% of our business was dine-in. And while money is not more important than lives, there is a balance. Like I said, there's a risk to anything we do. Eating solid food. 5,000 Americans die every year choking on solid food. Are we all going to give up the right to eat our steak in bites and not out of a blender?
Pretty rhetorical question right there. Again, joining us right now, we really appreciate it. Karen Starr and Stephanie Carter. Karen's Cafe and Stephanie's Bar. Where is Stephanie's Bar? Is it all in one right there?
It is all in one length. It's all one building.
It's the cafe, the purple room, the hallway, the bar.
You guys are pretty much the only game in town.
We can take you on a tour.
Show us around.
All right, let's go. So this is the cafe, and I'll do the burlies. This is the cafe part. And hold up, that's our military wall.
The military wall. Love that.
Yep. And this is our cafe part. This part here, this bar was made out of a backstop and the siding of my American Legion, where I was the commander in Fountain, Colorado.
Watch your finger on that camera there, Cheyenne. Oh, thank you. There we go. I'm sorry.
This is what we call our purple room.
We remember that gentleman right there from yesterday.
What's up, Josh?
How are you, sir? Good to see you, Josh.
So you can either close the barn door so that you have separation, or you can have it open and have more room to the cafe. Say hi, guys. Hi. Guys.
Hello.
Hi.
How's lunch?
So this is the purple room. This is the hallway adjoining to our bar. Here's our bar.
Oh, cool.
This is our bar. Wave, Jenny girl.
The bar is open.
There's my son-in-law again. And then we'll take you on the back of the house.
Yeah. It's interesting, as we look at your bar and restaurant, and it's been a while since we've seen activity in any restaurants. And
our community loves us. That's why we're here. This is our family. So this is the back of the house. It's a wreck because now we're doing all to-go products. All of our products are to-go now. So this is the back of the house. Where a lot happens. Say hi, guys. Hello. Then back through here, making the homemade mashed potatoes. Coming back through. This is our line. Sink where we do a lot of washing of the hands. Lots of washing of the hands. This is our grill. This is where the magic happens. All through here. Oh, let me do a little clip for you, though. Okay? I want to tell everybody a little something.
Just did a full circle. You're getting a tour right now. This is
people that like coffee. So we have our own special blend of coffee here. It's called Morton Special Blend. This is made, there's a 3-bean blend, and it's made at Veterans Coffee Roast and the Springs. And Mary and Dale donate $1 of every bag they sell to all their customers, to the veterans at the end of the year. And we donate $1 every bag that we sell to people of Warden Special Blend. This blend here, no bitterness, no aftertaste. And we sell it to people in Texas, Kansas. I've mailed it to Hawaii, California. Some of the best coffee you'll ever have. The reason that it's named Warden Special Blend is I was the first female veteran writer in Illinois, and the guys named me Warden. Steph says it's because I was bossy, so that might be a little true. But Warden Special Blend is some of the best coffee, and Bill at Western Omelet 3 is going to start selling our bags of coffee there too, because they like my coffee too.
I'll bet. Now Jay and I need to get our hands on some of that coffee.
Well, if you text me your address, I'll be sure to send you. And you only use a little over a quarter of a cup of coffee for a 12-pot cup.
Wow.
Or 12 cups of coffee. So it's some of the best coffee you'll ever have. My husband is a diehard mud drinker, and now he's bougie. He won't drink any other coffee but Warden Special Blend.
Can folks order it online?
Yeah. Not yet. Once our webpage gets up, they will be able to order it from us online. We're working on that. Because of everything that was going on with the COVID and everything, things just got a little crazy. But eventually they will be able to order it that way, and we'll be able to mail it to them for a fairly cheap price.
Folks that are watching on the stream, thanks for joining us. We're talking to Karen Starr from Karen's Cafe and Stephanie Carter from Stephanie's Bar, all in one. Feeling like we're getting to know these folks. And Bill over there at Western Omelet, what a cool guy he is.
I love small towns,
I do
man.
too.
I really
Everybody
do.
knows each other, and this truly is a small town. We're going to make our way to Calhan, Colorado, Jay. And
so one other thing, you guys, if you know of anybody at Thanksgiving and Christmas, even if they don't have any money, what we do is from 11 to 2 on actual Thanksgiving Day and Christmas Day, we do a donation-only meal. And we like to do that so everybody in the community, near and far, has somewhere to eat. So Thanksgiving's your traditional Thanksgiving dinner. And Christmas, we do spaghetti and meatballs because we're Sicilian. So if you know of anybody, or if they just don't feel like cooking anymore, tell them to come in 11 to 2 on Christmas or Thanksgiving and come and eat. And the first time you come, you're a guest. The next time you come, you're just part of our family. So
nice.
Come and visit us.
Very cool. From the stream, if anybody has a question, Zach says, would you open if you were in Denver?
I still have constitutional rights. It doesn't matter where you're at.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
You'd open if you were in Denver. Interesting. A little more dense population than where you are. Even though, we've seen some instances in rural Colorado outside of Grand Junction and Palisade. We caught up with a farmer a couple of weeks ago who lives on an orchard, a very large orchard, and him and his family got COVID. COVID will find its way anywhere. But right now, just a step ahead of the game, it probably will open back up. I'd love to get the verification that you said the county commissioner said that you'll be able to open up at 50% capacity here shortly, and I'd have to think that you guys have a little bit to do with that.
We're already at 50% capacity, though, but we're going to continue to stay with our safe measures of social distancing. We're going to stay with using our paper goods and cleaning and sterilizing all the tables. I don't know what everybody else is going to do, but that's what we're going to stay doing until, the COVID is under control. We're going to stay doing with what we've been doing since we opened last Wednesday.
Comment from the stream, Melissa Clement says, it's a free country. Do what makes you comfortable. That's an interesting slippery slope right there. You do have to be. If it was all just you and only you could harm yourself, Melissa, I think that's probably a good approach. But we have to be mindful of other people's safety too. these guys here in Calhan, Colorado, seem to be doing everything right. You guys are the salt of the earth. We love every second of catching up with you guys. What's next for you? Business as usual and serving the community like you always have, and keeping the paychecks going for your employees. Any last words that you'd like to give us?
Well, just so everybody realizes, 7 out of the 8 people that work here are my family. They actually live in our house. We all live together. They're my family. My daughter, son-in-law, granddaughter, adopted son, grandson. So, when I say that we're veteran owned and family operated, and then my other staff, they are like our families. So we are family operated. And Western Omelet 3, they're just an extension of our family now. We just love them, and nobody's going to take that away. We are not each other's competition. We are just different options, and I'm humbled. I don't even have words for how blessed I feel that our prayers were answered, that other people are going to be able to feed their families now. And people might have some ease knowing. One last thing I do want to say, though, I did hear in that live forum was that restaurants will can, if they want to, like no shoes, no shirt, no service, that restaurants will be able to decide if they want to take down their customers' information in case they get sick or whatever like that. Karen's Cafe and Stephanie's Bar and Grill will not do that. I do not believe in violating my customers' HIPAA rights. I was in the medical field, and I will not violate that right. Other places can do what they want, but we will not do that. If you don't feel well, we have markings out saying if you don't feel well, please still ask for curbside or delivery, and that will stand true throughout the history of our establishment. We will not change that ever now. We'll keep that going. But I am not going to invade your privacy no more than I would ever want mine invaded, or my family's, to say, we want your name and all your information. That's not who we are, and we will never be those people. And thank you very much. God bless you guys.
Oh, bless you too. Thank you for your time, Cheyenne. Great camera work.
Thanks.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Hey, Cheyenne, Jay here. I need to know how to get my hands on one of those shirts that says "I got serviced with my boots on." Do you guys sell those at the restaurant?
We sure do. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Well, when I make my way up to Calhan, I'm going to get a couple of those for Denver.
Yeah, we are going to make our way up there. Okay, good luck, you guys. I don't know what's next for you, but I certainly know you guys have a big heart, and I think it's in the right place. So thanks for spending some time with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, you bet.
Thanks.
There it is. Everybody has an opinion on this, and I'm not going to press it or give them a hard time. It is what it is, and that's what we're seeing. I did do my due diligence. I reached out yesterday, Jay, to George Brockler, the Arapahoe County DA, and just to ask.
What'd you ask him?
Well, I said, is it a crime to reopen a restaurant right now, or is it just an order? I'm not understanding what's happening. He said, could be a misdemeanor to violate the public health order, but nobody's going to criminally prosecute somebody for opening their restaurant. Take that in.
Say that again. Say it again, so that my brain.
Hit you with it again.
Yeah. My brain.
Sure. He says it could be a misdemeanor to violate the public health order.
It could be,
but nobody is going to criminally prosecute somebody just for opening their restaurant.
Well, okay. So my question
is, why isn't everybody opening their restaurant?
Well, no. My question to that is what is the could be part? Explain that. I mean, unless you know,
like is someone going to write you a jaywalking ticket, type of thing. Ding dong. Nobody's home. Dave's not home, man. All right, we continue. Jeff Rourke and A+ Beverage Solutions. Man, get ready to go. You see it. People are itching. They're opening their restaurants no matter what, but you need to have clean draft lines.
Yes, you do.
Pouring inefficient beer does what to you, Jay?
Pours your money down the drain.
Do not pour your money down the drain. Just get a hold of Jeff Rourke and A+ Beverage Solutions. $10 per line. He'll clean them.
That's nothing.
$10 per line. He'll clean them up. Family-owned and operated business. 20 years doing specialty tap installations. Beer, wine, water, coffee, nitro, add a line. Make your tap dreams reality. Get a hold of Jeff Rourke and A-Plus Beverage Solutions. He'll do you up right. 720-272-3809. 720-272-3809. It's Jeff Rourke and A-Plus Beverage Solutions. Joining us right now, and there's a brush up. They're being grubby. They're getting grubby out there. Everybody's getting a little weird and a little greedy, but Grubhub doing some shifty stuff right now. I want to get this piece up because joining us here momentarily is Erik Riggs from Freshcraft. And I have, yes, I do, right here.
What you have?
I got a little something on my compute that I'm going to play. It's a Fox 31 piece, and it explains what's happening with Grubhub.
All right.
Pay to partner with it as unavailable for delivery, even though they're very much open and looking for sales.
Erik Riggs owns Freshcraft, a beer bar and kitchen near Denver's popular 16th Street Mall. His family-run business relies on customers who request deliveries during this pandemic, while dining in is still not an option.
It's people like me that own businesses that work hard to keep these businesses afloat that are working even harder right now. And it's gonna take a lot of effort from the consumer to realize that.
When you type in Freshcraft delivery online, one of the first choices is the delivery service Grubhub. But when you click further, that site alerts the customer Freshcraft is not accepting online orders, even though it is.
It's absolutely devastating, and it's appalling that this company does these practices.
I just think that everyone needs to play fair, and Grubhub isn't doing that.
Attorney Ross Ziv filed this federal lawsuit Monday afternoon, claiming Grubhub is punishing restaurants that don't pay fees to partner with it by driving business to other similar restaurants nearby that do. These messages are posted with conscious disregard for the truth, the suit says.
They'll do everything that they can to steer their customers back to where they can make money.
Ziv says it's not just mom and pop shops being shut out. He filed the lawsuit as a class action. Riggs, meanwhile, wants his customers to know he's very much open Tuesdays through Sundays and still delivering to any paying customers.
I don't want to see all these restaurants like myself close all over the country because they're not getting their word out because big companies like Grubhub are preventing them from, marketing properly.
So Freshcraft obviously does not partner with Grubhub, but it accepts orders at its own website, freshcraft.com. It is next open for business tomorrow at 11 a.m. Grubhub, meanwhile, says it doesn't comment on pending litigation, but it did say it is committed to helping restaurants, drivers, and diners through this challenging time. And it said that it is investing tens of millions of dollars into programs that drive more business to its partners. I'm Lori.
All right, that's Fox 31. Thank you for that piece. And joining us now, actually, let me introduce this gentleman, Jed Levin from Piper Inn's here with us. Because I just met you right now, but co-host with me for a little while.
Why not? I'll do my best.
I was wondering who that was.
This will be my second full hour of podcasting today, so I'm game, man.
All right, Erik Riggs, the man of the hour, Freshcraft. We'll go to Freshcraft right now and welcome Erik to the show. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Oh, we're well, too. Okay, lots is going on right now. You set it up. You tell the story right now, and then we'll dig in and have some back and forth.
Yeah, so, I was exploring kind of my options. I think everyone did when all of this stuff started happening and restaurants started to close. So you kind of had to reach out, and I made the conscious decision not to use any of the delivery apps. I've dealt with them in the past as kind of a general manager through other companies I worked for. And as an owner, I made the decision to not use them because numerous reasons, but mainly to kind of control who represents Freshcraft. When you use these companies, you're kind of forced by their hiring practices, and I don't necessarily think that their drivers would represent me the way that I'd want them to represent me. And outside of the fees, which are obviously well known, I opted to kind of use my own delivery drivers and to use an online platform as Upserve. It's actually a point of sale system that gave me a year for free. So I kind of used that as a link. And when I was exploring online ordering and delivering, I Googled Freshcraft delivery, and sure enough, the first page to hit was Grubhub. Went through it, and then I realized it said that I was not accepting online orders, which was false. And then I was also not delivering, which was also false. So kind of once I realized those things, I reached out and kind of started the process for this class action suit.
I'm Googling it right now. The other day.
They took it down.
Yeah, no, I know, man, I know. So
it was a pretty quick response, which I appreciate because that was kind of one of the goals is to make sure that they're not doing this to myself or other restaurants. And
do you believe by taking it down? Do you believe that's an admission of guilt?
No, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I like to think that, but I think it's just them covering their own ass.
That's an interesting thing. Tell us more about the class action lawsuit.
Yeah, so it's actually just me so far. It might just be me. Who knows? I'm fine with that. I mean, choosing the climate right now, what do I have to lose?
Yeah.
One of the things that kind of, I guess, perturbed me the most about Grubhub during these times is they're really pushing their advertising at that they're helping to restaurants keep their doors open and that they're here for small restaurants.
Jed saying, no, it's not out.
To me, that drives me up a wall more than anything else.
They're here for restaurants that they partner with for 30% of all of their delivery sales. And that partnership is very one-sided towards them. And, they use that to, make their restaurants more available and make their restaurants more profitable. I mean, they do have, I get why small restaurants would go to them is because their app is very, very used and it covers a broad range of, possible customers. And I understand that. And that's what was extra disturbing about my situation is that whole clientele base thinks that I'm closed and I'm not. Actually, the app was listed me as closed. I don't have the Grubhub app, but I noticed that the app, when you went into it, said that I was just closed. So I wasn't taking any orders. I wasn't open. According to anyone that uses Grubhub app, which is probably, 70% of the population. So probably has it downloaded on their phone.
So you don't use any service other than your own to get your food out there. Is that correct? How did they get your information in the first place? Were you partnered with them at one point or some point?
So I actually bought Freshcraft from the previous owners in October, and I believe they had some sort of relationship with them at some point. But that sale went through in October, and I haven't had any contact with them whatsoever since then, or at all actually. As the owner and operator of Freshcraft, never once.
Piper Inn, do you use services like that?
So we're of a very, very similar mindset, and I will also add that we come from, as the Piper Inn, we come from a position of better privilege, right? We've been around 52 years. We have a brand name that's known far and wide. I don't need a third-party app to convince customers to come order from me for to-go food, for delivery, for anything. If I were relying on Uber Eats or Grubhub or one of those third-party apps for my marketing as well as my delivery, I would be beholden to them. We don't use any third-party apps. We do use one third-party app. It's called Chow Now. They handle our online ordering as well as our delivery. The one thing that Chow Now does differently is that they allow the restaurant to specify how much of the delivery fee is charged to the customer and how much is charged to the restaurant. So it's not a flat 30% commission or whatever. It's a flat fee per order, and I can say I'll pay $4 and you pay $8 or whatever the breakdown ends up being. So it gives me the control, and that for me that's crucial. But like I said, if I were an upstart restaurant, if I were a little mom and pop, I might need to rely, especially if I had a different concept, I might need to rely on Uber Eats or Grubhub or DoorDash to do the marketing for me and get me out there.
So what's the deal? I mean, I really don't get any great feedback from any restaurant or operator that any of these delivery services are doing anything but gouging them. What does it take to do business with them? And then on the back end of it, I guess they ask you to pay more money for more exposure. And I hear that with Yelp as well. They'll bury reviews, or they'll put them to the forefront, or they'll bury another business in order for you. It's an interesting thing that we're seeing, but I hate to think anybody would want to use these, but I guess some people, like you said, have to use it as a marketing angle. What are the fees for Grubhub?
I mean, they typically charge 30% on every delivery.
Jeez.
There's no margin left by the time you're done.
What they also do, which is very manipulative, and you don't know this, but they want each tab to be as low as possible. So they want. I think I read something that they average per delivery $30 per order as an annual. So the more basically you get charged for each delivery, not per all your deliveries. So you get charged a little bit more for each delivery that goes through. I've only used them, like I said, as a GM. So I have seen, P&Ls based on that and noticed, whoa, that's a lot of money going to Grubhub. But yeah, I mean, there are benefits to it. I understand. Like, sorry, I didn't get the name of the owner of the pipeline.
That's Jed.
Sorry.
Jed. Like Jed was saying, they have a broad, advertising spectrum. They get people that probably wouldn't normally, see my name out there, and maybe they would because they open the Grubhub app and I pay for it a certain way. One of the things that I thought was, I don't really think it was funny, but when when I first noticed this, it says, Freshcraft's not taking online orders. Freshcraft isn't open. Freshcraft isn't delivering. Try these similar restaurants. And the most similar restaurant to everyone, not a coincidence, is McDonald's. So I'm pretty sure they pay for the luxury to be similar to every single request that you could possibly put in. I hope it wasn't just me and people think that I'm similar to McDonald's, but I think that's just the partnership that McDonald's has with them is they are the most similar to every search that you could possibly put into them.
That's the voice of Erik Riggs from Freshcraft. We are at Freshcraft. We're going to ask you to look around here in a few minutes. But what are you looking for out of this lawsuit? Monetary?
I mean, yeah, that'd be nice. Of course, I can't say money is not a bad thing right now. But no, I know if this is happening to me, and I know a lot of other practices they're doing that I've kind of heard through the grapevine, and just I just kind of want to expose a company that's very large. This is, if you think about the era we're in, these companies should be able to, this is like their era, everything's switching into their business model. And they shouldn't have to resort to these. They should be reducing these fees to help restaurants out. A deferment, like basically Grubhub is advertising a deferment of fees. A deferment in this era is a borderline death sentence. You don't know what's going to happen next week, next month, next year. The last thing you want to do is be hit with like $1,000 bill in a week or a month. Who knows what's going to happen? We constantly have to adapt right now, and you don't want this one hurdle you don't need these extra hurdles basically to succeed. You need as much help as you can get. And I think companies that are this large that are resorting to these tactics is unnecessary and, appalling.
Well, and it gets even worse because they've joined forces with Uber Eats. Now it's just one big Grubhub.
They're in the works. Yeah.
That's going to be what a juggernaut monster. Hopefully they figure it out and can become more useful or helpful to businesses. And it's like, don't help me, but don't hurt me, Yeah.
Well, don't advertise that you're helping me and then hurt me. That's probably more kind of, they made this big push, and I've watched interviews with the CEO and founder and how they're trying to help restaurants out. And it just couldn't be farther from the case. They're really doing nothing but to help themselves out. By getting more partners and getting more fees. I know certain cities, like I think San Francisco's got a 15% cap they put on all these delivery sites, as well as I think Boston's looking at putting a cap on it too, because 30% is just too high.
Way too high, especially for restaurant. I mean, margins are so slim as it is, and you guys are just getting kicked in the balls anyway right now. You can't open up the way you'd like to operate, and then to insult to injury, right? Throw salt in the wound. It's just a terrible gouging thing, and that's why it was important to have you on today. I'd like for other folks to – so, okay, you were looking at your online presence, right? So you were saying, okay, where am I at? Who's doing what? What do I – you're Googling Freshcraft. You're doing all kinds of variances. You think other businesses should do that, right? Look at your online presence. See where you come up in the search engines.
Yeah, are you going to find another 8 hours in the day for me, though? Because, I don't have time to keep up with them all.
I think I found that out at 2:00 in the morning. Well, it wasn't during regular office hours, that's for sure.
Can people contact you directly, Erik, if they'd like to jump in and join arms with you on this one?
Yeah, absolutely. My emails, you can just go to the Freshcraft website, but it's just erik.riggs@freshcraft.com is my personal email. So, personal work, but yeah, they can reach out whenever they want. I'm happy to talk about it, or, any advice I can give or any advice I can receive, I'll take.
So at 1530 Blake Street, and it's a ghost town right now down there. It's really strange.
A lot of construction workers.
Okay, tell us about Freshcraft, man.
Yeah, so, we've been around since 2009. As I mentioned, I took over in October, but always been a big craft beer guy. and been in the restaurant industry since I was 14, I guess. We kind of have an allocated list of beers we can get. We get the rarest of rare. Try to keep local when we can, but if there's something I want out there, I'll grab it and offer it. And we got 26 rotating taps that we curate pretty well. We have 100+ bottles and cans.
Wow, doing it.
Craft beer bar in Colorado a year ago by Craft Beer Association, and we kind of have a scratch kitchen as well. I like to think we're kind of like we're downtown, so we're an older building, divey feel where you kind of come in there and you're surprised about the quality of our food, quality of the ingredients, as well as, the laid back atmosphere.
Kind of like Piper
you can
Inn.
come in.
Yeah, sounds familiar.
It sounds like
the front door looks great right now too.
Man, so here, gosh, it sucks so bad because it's American Craft Beer Week, and you'd be full right now, I'm sure, serving up the delicious craft beers. We're actually going to have on Julia Herz from the Brewers Association. I think if she gets back to us, Bob Pease comes on regularly, and just the craft beer world getting devastated. All your friends and family around you as we're projected to shut down 60% of Colorado breweries. I hope that figure is just skewed and wrong. We've seen a couple in the attrition of breweries right now. There's sort of an evening going on, but our upslope, you got the upslope hat on today. I'm sure you got rotating caps that you wear as well.
Yeah, I do.
What's your?
I wore the outer range one of my last interviews, so I had to switch it out. It's behind me.
Switched it up. Nice. I love so many breweries here in Colorado. I guess you can't really pick your favorite. I do love Ska Brewing Company in Durango, Colorado. That's one of my favorites, and it's the people. I really love Dave Thibodeau. He's a hell of a guy. But as you go to you, and we're looking at Freshcraft in just an empty place, man. It's tough to hang on. Show us the background if you could. Are you on your computer or phone?
So, I'm kind of in. My Wi-Fi is a little sketchy towards the back of the building, but dining room's kind of back there. This is kind of the hallway / other dining room. Bars at the front doors up there.
Pretty big place.
It's kind of big for downtown, narrow. Mm-hmm. Which I don't think would work well for social distancing, because if anyone goes to the bathroom, you become within 6 feet of people. So, we'll see what happens we'll see what happens in general. No one knows.
Yeah. Your kitchen's active, though,
how
right?
regulations are going to happen and how it's going to look. And
or you could be like some of the places that are just taking it upon themselves to reopen right now. We just talked to Karen's Cafe and Stephanie's Bar in Calhan, Colorado. They opened. CNC and Colorado or in Castle Rock, they opened. People are getting itchy right now, and I don't even know how to. When we look back on this, I wonder how it's going to play out in history. In my mind, I think that's. How do you think it's going to play out, Erik?
Like I said, I don't know everything. I think the key is, and I think a lot of restaurant people already have this mindset, because things can go wrong, when you're busy. Things can go wrong in a restaurant anytime. There's a lot of equipment that can fail. So you kind of just, being in the industry as long as I am, you just learn to adapt. And I think now we're adapting every which way, every time we can. One thing that I've done, which has worked well on the to-go realm of things, I have I got a can seamer of a guy. His name's Gordon McKinnon. He owns Peak to Peak Brewing in Aurora. Never met him, actually. We had mutual friends on Facebook, and I reached out kind of when this happened, trying to find a growler. And he gave me his can seamer. So that's kind of become what we're doing here, is we're seaming cans. And what originally I wanted to do was sell draft beer. And it turned into more of 12-ounce craft canned cocktails that we're doing. So we're canning them to order. They'll last in a can for like a week. And it's kind of we kind of do a whole stage of garnishes with them too, and trying to basically bring the bar atmosphere to your living room. Which I think is a much needed thing right now, and it's been pretty well for us. Nothing's going as well as it once did, and I think that's kind of your expectations are much lower. I was telling someone, I get like an online order, it's $100, and I throw a party now, and that's like a table on a Friday night. So it's like it's your expectations kind of change, and you kind of roll with the punches. One thing, kind of going back to the opening early, and I'm not rushing into any of this. I don't want to put anyone's safety at risk. I don't want to make my doors open, put my staff at risk, put people that come in here at risk, just because I'm struggling to make money right now. That's not fair. That's not who I am. That's not what I'm about. and I'll do this and scrape by as long as I can to be as safe as I can while doing it. That's kind of I'm sure you're getting PPP money, people talking about it. And that's kind of the drawback of that is you have to bring these people back. And, a lot of them are on unemployment and they don't want to come back. And I don't blame them. You can collect money and stay at your house and be safe and control your environment. And so be it. I'm not the one to say, oh, you're lazy, come back to work for me because I need to spend payroll money because I got a loan from the government. So it's kind of a double-edged sword in that fact where you're kind of rolling with the punches, but at the same time you need to still operate.
Yeah, no doubt. Jay? What?
Yeah, hey, Erik, Jay here. Mike, I have a question for you. Is there anything from, doing the to-go model and all that stuff that you think is going to hold on after the pandemic is over? Like, let's just say everything is back to complete normal. Is there anything that you're doing or anything you've seen done to where you go, you know what, but like pandemic or not, I'm going to introduce this into my MO?
Yeah, Grubhub, man. He's going to.
It all depends on how the laws are going to go.
Yeah. Because you'd love to keep canning beer and sending it out the door, right?
The to-go alcohol, I would literally start a business right now based on selling craft cocktails to go into your living room, into wherever, catering parties, catering events. But, this isn't Louisiana, this isn't Nevada. So I don't know if the last thing I want to do is start up a business venture and then the laws change tomorrow. So
totally.
we're just kind of, that's one thing that I think I know, because I follow the Restaurant Association, probably like a lot of owners do, is that a lot of restaurants are lobbying to keep these loose alcohol laws in effect, kind of as the phase 1 of reopening or phase 2 of reopening, whatever it's going to be called, kind of the staggered reopening, limited capacities, however it's going to look, so you can still kind of hopefully benefit off of those to-go alcohol sales.
What's that expression where they say you don't realize how silly the laws are until you don't have to abide by them?
It's
the
weird
liquor one like that, to where it's like, you can't, like it's the end of the world that a restaurant that you could pick up, a 6-pack of beer from the restaurant. Like, no way. Until they lift that during, the pandemic, and then it's just kind of like, oh, that was real easy and everybody loves it, and so what's the problem,
Yeah, I think a lot of I think it'll still have to be enforced probably better. I think everything's kind of a little loose right now when it comes to enforcement. Yeah. I don't think there's been any open container tickets, put it that way.
Well, it could get even.
When things leave the door here, I hope people go to their house and drink it responsibly, but I don't really know. I put a label on it like I have to that says that there's alcohol in it and that you can't open it in transit, but
Well, I may or may not have been 17 or 18 hanging outside a liquor store trying to get someone to buy me booze at some point.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's going to get more interesting here on this Denver Post article about, and I've been saying this for weeks now, the future of Colorado restaurants could depend on our biggest asset, the outdoors. If they can do some creative things, and I don't know what you have going for you out there with your address, but they're talking about Glenarm Place, mid-block between 15th and 16th to be blocked off so that people can sit and eat outside and drink outside, and Larimer Square between 14th and 15th Street. What's your outside look like? It'd be great to give you some patio space or some sidewalk space or the street.
Yeah, for sure. We've actually, me and some of the owners on the block have actually kind of started talking about this. We're on Blake, which is a little different because it's kind of a straight shot to Spear. Mm-hmm. So to close it down would probably, in all honesty, not happen. But we're talking, taking parking away, and it's to kind of expand our patios onto the sidewalk maybe and have like a little walking area where the parking would normally be. And, it's a little different where we are because we're a block away from the big Market Street Station build. So there's been a lane closed for, seems like 3 years on Blake, pretty much between 17th and 16th. So I don't know if they would go down to one lane just to kind of appease us. We're the only restaurants on this side of the block. There's so it's me, Brass Tacks, Giovannina's, and Hapa on this side, and the Rio's on the other side. And we all know they don't need to benefit from more patio space. Their patio's twice the size of my restaurant. So it would only really affect our side. So that's kind of why we've all kind of joined forces to talk about it. But who knows?
Yeah.
You're just kind of throwing everything out there and seeing it sticks and making your adjustments from there.
right.
You know, I'm not anticipating being able to throw a block party, that's for sure, just because I don't think, you know, that'll be viable, or the city will go for it, or you don't really know who's going to go for what right now, to be perfectly honest.
I have another question, but
Do
you know,
you, Jay?
yeah, but
What
it's not real
Is it
good.
it's
yeah,
not
it's
a
a
good
fun.
one?
No, this is
It's
a fun. This is
one.
a
All
fun
right,
one.
well,
I
hit
used to
us.
work downtown for a lot of years down there, Eric, at 16th and Market, where the old Pat's location was in the basement. Anyway,
Wasn't that Crocs?
Crocs was upstairs,
upstairs?
and then
Yeah,
we were
yeah.
downstairs. I mean, I could, God,
I
I
used
want
to go there when when I missed a bus when I lived in
to
Boulder.
Crocs or to Pat's.
The Pats.
Oh man, I probably either choked you or cut you off, or just gave you a high five. Or
I just thought I was
something
there.
like
Maybe I was dead sober.
We used to play this. I just want to know, because you're downtown, and when you started to mention all those restaurants and bars that are around you, we used to play a game. It was called the Keg Splitter. And so when we got a new employee, we would say, hey, man, can you run upstairs to Crocs and get our keg splitter? We loaned it to them like 2 days ago. And they'd go, yeah. And obviously there is no keg splitter, so they'd go upstairs. Now, everybody at Crocs, management-wise and stuff, they knew what it was, and so they would send them down the street to Freshcraft. Be like, oh, no, we actually loaned it out to Freshcraft. Do you guys play any games like that with new employees where you send them to another bar asking for something stupid? Or you know where I'm going with that. I just want to know that's not dead.
I mean, I don't do it as much being the owner. It's a little bit inappropriate.
Well, that's you tell your GM. Listen, this is part of your job, sir.
He likes to be on the other side of the class action lawsuits.
Yeah. But I mean, I've been in the restaurant industry for a long time. We always did stuff like that. I worked at a place called Juanita's in Boulder for 7 years. And we did all sorts of stuff. We were on Pearl Street.
What'd you do? Give
I mean,
me one.
the restaurant shuffle to tell people to go get stuff was pretty common. You know, you tell them to get the bacon stretcher and go get me a bucket of steam from next door. And
I love it.
Empty the water out of the coffee machine. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There was one that we used to do. This one was pretty cruel. When people were training, is we would take a bucket of water when they were on the toilet and splash it underneath and just soak their pants for the rest of their shift. At the beginning of it.
Yeah, there you go.
That one was pretty brutal. That's an uncomfortable shift.
All right, they come out, right?
That's what I'm looking for.
Hey, up in Pearl Street, man, you remember Mall Crawl?
Yeah.
Do you? Did you ever attend the Mall Crawl?
Not really. I mean, I went to CU, so I kind of did the natural progression from the hill, and I was more on the hill when the Mall Crawl was kind of a big thing. Back when there were bars on the hill. And then, once I started working at Juanita's, moved down to Pearl Street and was there for quite some time.
Yeah, that was, for those, if you don't know, Halloween, they did something called Mall Crawl, and every freak came out dressed up and hanging from poles, just packed. I mean, nuts to butts, man, just pushed in. And
I was there the year there was a Halloween riot on the hill.
Yeah.
I was there
that was
year.
like the last year, right?
Yeah,
That's like
and
when they pulled
that's fitting,
I had a buddy who lived on that rooftop above the sink. There's that apartment above there.
Uh-huh.
And he lived there, and we were kind of up there just watching the anarchy. And it was, I'm not going to lie, it's pretty entertaining to see, like, people dressed up and getting, like, hogtied by police. Dressed as a clown.
To see a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle really beat somebody up.
Safe distance.
But then they start shooting the tear gas off, and everything becomes not so funny.
Yeah, then it's a whole different game. So here, last one for you. 125 Colorado breweries are all making the same beer to raise money during the pandemic. I'm looking forward to this. We're hopefully talk to Julia Herz about this, but the Brewers Guild set this. I thought the Brewers Guild is just like one person now. What's her name? The Brewers Guild is like ever since Steve Karowski left. It's down to one person. But a great initiative, 125 Colorado breweries. The variances on that beer, but all for one cause and just trying to raise money for breweries right now. So I think it's more important than ever. So drink up that craft beer this week, man. Did you see a spike in sales at all this week because it's American Craft Beer Week? Or
I think they've been kind of climbing steadily. I mean, nothing's drastic by any means, but climbing steadily since we reopened for 6 days a week, and we're doing canned flights too, which I don't think anyone's doing. So I'll do like a 4-pack of 12-ounce beers, a very large flight, but a flight nonetheless. I think it's crazy. Your mindset with cost kind of goes out the window because you're competing with liquor stores now, and that's a different thing altogether. So you can't hope to get
Look where we
you
are.
hope to get what you used to get. You just try to get what you can. So I want things to sell, so I price them pretty well for that. But I think I make a good effort to. I'm a big hazy IPA guy, so I have a fair amount of hazy IPAs, and people come here specifically for that. So I think I do pretty steady business with our regulars just based on the drafts I can sell.
East or left coast IPA or hazy IPA.
I would say, I get them from all over the country, and Colorado as well. I always have Outer Range on. I always have Weldworks on. I normally have Cerebral on. Juicy Banger, even though it's not hazy, but juicy.
God, I love that beer. I love that beer so much.
I miss beer just in general, but also I like that bitter. I like that bitter beer.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay. It's been 3 years since you've put your lips on one.
Pushing 4.
Kitchen's open. Can people order food?
Absolutely.
Okay. Not through Grubhub.
We kind of work a little differently. It's almost like running either a pop-up or a food truck these days.
Yeah.
And we change our menu weekly, and kind of it's a good time to, if nothing else, to R&D food items and see how they do.
Yeah.
So we kind of limited our menu. It's not the size it used to be, and we kind of rotate things out weekly. But we do a good job about updating the online platform as well as our website to kind of showcase those items.
Support this gentleman, Erik Riggs, Freshcraft, man. Thanks for joining us today.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
No doubt. We'll see you next time, man.
All right. Sounds good.
Bye.
Thanks.
Cheers. There it is. Erik Riggs, Freshcraft, Grubhub, getting grubby, man. Larry Herz will join us here, I think, at 3:30, OCN Eats, and Jed Levin was over there from Piper Inn, man. Good to see you.
Cheers, man.
Yeah,
it's good to be here.
Lots going on in the world, right? For those who don't,
plenty to talk about.
Those that don't know the Piper Inn, man, describe it.
The Piper Inn's a Denver mainstay. We've been in business, family-owned, since 1968. My grandfather started the business 52 years ago. My dad ran it for 35, 37 years, and now I'm in charge.
Did you ever think, or did you want, or?
I knew since I was a kid.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
It's coming?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's, most of my life I spent knowing I'd be back here running the place eventually. We're a unique fusion of a dive bar, a Chinese restaurant. We've got it all. We check all the boxes. The thing that I love the most about what we've cultivated is, we're welcome to anybody. We don't have a clientele. It's everybody. It's all walks of life. If you're open to a good time and you like honest food, an honest menu, and an honest owner, it's a good place to go.
Well, wow. Before we continue, I forgot to do this. Rome Sausage now offering home delivery. A lot of these businesses that manufacturers that are just in the food service chain are devastated because that's been broken. Obviously, restaurants not ordering, but right now is a good time. Locally owned and operated small batch artisan sausage now delivering to your house. Take them up on this offer. It's a $60 bundle. Do you love sausage?
All day, every day.
Yeah. Breakfast sausage, breakfast links, Italian meatballs, jalapeno, cheddar broth, bratwurst, chicken, apple sausage, Italian sausage, green chili sausage, chorizo, hot Polish kielbasa. All that, $60, one box. It comes to your house. Look them up online at romesausage.com or give them a call, 303-296-7663. He'll give you a sausage joke, too, if you call Chris Johnson from Rome Sausage. And he's got a lot of them, too. Piper Inn, people would say, okay, isn't that a biker bar?
Yeah, it has been. It certainly still attracts quite a lot of Harley riders. Mm-hmm. But, I've spent a lot of time thinking about this, and when my grandfather opened the place, it was cowboys. It was farmers and cowboys.
I got to imagine, what was that area like back in the day?
It was a pair of dirt roads and a grass field across the way.
Sure.
It was very rural at the time, and now it's like right in the heart of two giant cities,
Uh-huh.
It was cowboys back in the day. When my dad took over, the Harley riders kind of came through.
Was he a rider?
No. My dad is. He's been on a motorcycle once in his life.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was one of our bar managers at the time had brought kind of the biker crowd with her. She knew just a bunch of friends in the community, and this is what I spend a lot of time thinking about. what ties those people, the farmers, together with the bikers, together with the crowd that comes in now. And to me, it's just the realest, salt of the earth people you'll ever meet. They'll tell you the God's honest truth straight to your face. They won't hold back. And I consider myself among them.
And they got your back.
Yeah, and they got you back. It's a tight community, biker or non. The minute you walk in that door, you are part of the family. And, I've seen it over and over and over again. People say, I don't know why I never went in there sooner. Why did I drive by that place so long? It's so friendly. It's so
and
nice.
I think
it's
the
so
bikers
welcoming.
get a bad rap. You get the sensationalized of media and TV of what they are, but they're just sweet people,
Yeah. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Back in the 90s, we had
Was
some
it?
times. We had
Tell
some
us the story.
times.
Tell us the story.
I don't know how many of those stories I want to share.
Really? I mean, it's not there anymore, but yeah.
I used to work as a bar back there. That was kind of my first job. When I was 15, I started bar backing, and I've learned the industry from the inside for basically all my life. I remember definitely some days coming in. And there were just broken pool cues and chairs and like half a table over here. Yeah. It would take me 2 or 3 hours to clean up some of these fights these guys
They'd
have.
leave it for you? Leave it for Jed.
There's another word for bar back in the industry. I won't share it on a podcast.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's, I was the workhorse. I cleaned all that stuff up. So they were
the donkey.
Yeah.
You did the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
No, I get it.
Yeah, so there were plenty of fights I cleaned up. But
what was your challenge? When did you get the keys?
Oh, geez. That was about 4 years ago that I started coming in. Obviously I didn't just go whole hog at once. 4 or 5
Your old
years
man
ago.
Transitioned with you? Is he still doing the deal?
So he's still involved in ownership. He doesn't involve himself in any of the day-to-day at this point. But honestly, that's for the better for all of us.
Nice.
I think I bring a fresh, new perspective. Prior to this, I was a software engineer for 12 years.
Look at that. Were you really?
Yeah, I wrote code.
Even though you knew you'd be in the bar?
Yeah. I had the skill. I still have it. And, I still keep it sharp. And
Does any of that translate into the business?
Absolutely.
What?
Absolutely.
Tell me what.
So there's two kind of aspects to that, right? One is, as a software engineer, I never worked in a company bigger than 100 people. I started some companies. I sold some companies. I was employee number 10. I was employee number 5. So I've been through management. I've been through ownership. Management is management. If it's people, if it's code, if it's a kitchen, it's all systems, and the systems work together in a certain way. And some systems are harder to work with than others, but they're systems, and you learn the parameters. So I honed my management skills in software, nice. And I think those have translated really well. The other thing the other aspect to it is, I'm one of the only restaurateurs that I've ever known that is capable of writing code at all. As we modernize and move to these online platforms and these ordering platforms and so on and so forth, there's a lot of software involved in the office. The POS is only just the beginning of it. And having a background in software gives me the unique ability to tie all these pieces together with my own handwritten code. I don't have to rely on anybody else to put this stuff together.
We got a genius here with us today.
Well, listen, man, I've already got a question queued up for him, whether he wants to hear it as soon as it. Well, no, it's about video. Well, I'll ask you. So Julia Herz just texted me back, and so she says, "Where am I going?" So I just sent her a link, so we may hear a ding dong. But until we hear the ding dong, my question is: so I had a guy send me a video onto my computer, right? And I know you're writing code, but you obviously know more than I do. So I have a video on this computer. Came through it, downloaded it, no problem, from Dropbox. Looks beautiful, Zach's video. I want to just get it into this iPad, right? Any way I can, but keep the integrity of the video. And the universe and whatever God you believe in wants to keep me from doing this, right?
Take it straight from Dropbox.
And my community, I tried that. I tried.
Just the more that you put it around.
That lowers the quality. I kidding. Now technically I have it in the iPad, but the quality is so bad I couldn't play it because Greg would yell at me and be like, "Why would you even play that?"
That's not good management. I wouldn't yell at you.
So technically I got it in there. It just looks like garbage. All right, standing by for Julia.
I don't think he has an answer for that.
I will stand up for most software engineers and say that software engineering and tech support are two completely different fields.
Gotcha.
That's below his pay grade, bro.
Yeah, man.
That's no slight to tech support. Trust me, because that's a whole other skill, man.
Is your computer plugged in? Did you reset your modem? Hello, there she is right there.
Hey, how are you, Greg?
Doing well. Good to see you. We're a liquor store. You see that? We're Molly's Liquors.
Yeah, with not enough people.
I know. Need more people drinking craft beer. American Craft Beer Week.
That is true. It is on May 11th to the 17th, so it's going on now through Sunday.
Drink it up, right? Here's a news article that I was happy to see today. 125 Colorado breweries are all making the same beer to raise money during the pandemic. I like those types of efforts. Do you know much about it?
Yeah, that's the Colorado Strong effort. Definitely spearheaded by the Colorado Brewers Guild. Left Hand Brewing's heavily involved. A bunch of sponsors and breweries. Yeah, more than 100 breweries I heard, and they are charging along to raise money for breweries and the guild in this state because it's a very needed time.
This is Julia Herz, and she is from the Brewers Association. What's the title there, Julia? I just think that you're the queen of the Brewers Association.
Well, you're ever complimentary, Greg, and right back at you of being king of the modern eater world and keeping us all informed. You and your team are great. I'm the craft beer program director at the Brewers Association, and I wear many hats. Beer educator and advocate for craft breweries is an easy way to summarize it.
Gotcha. What's the state of craft beer right now? I know the last time we talked to Mr. Pease that it was looking kind of shaky. 60% projected of craft beer breweries in Colorado to close down before summer. Still on track for that, or?
Any stats that we report now are not definitive, right? And every week things evolve, especially with reopening coming finally with a date, and us having the opportunity to know that there is maybe an end to the madness in some form, although it's going to be a new madness that we're all living in. Overall, nationally, because at the Brewers Association, we represent the majority of breweries on the national level. And April 7th, when we did our second impact survey results, we reported that 46% of the breweries, and there were 500 breweries plus that replied to that survey, said they didn't think that they would make it 1 to 3 months. But now I'm not so sure. We're definitely going to have a different beer community. We're going to have less breweries, very sobering times. But the deck of cards has been thrown up in the air, and we just don't know how many breweries physically won't reopen or have reopened but won't be able to last because the sales just aren't enough.
The creativeness that we're seeing in the restaurant industry, and obviously they're multi-dimensional with restaurants, but breweries just relying on the one thing that they have, their beer, to get it out there to the public. Are there some innovative things that are in place or creative talks on how that can happen to really channel that and to keep it going, Julia?
Yeah, and definitely. And I love what independent breweries do. They use their craft beer as a cause for other causes. Craft breweries are always going to give back to their communities in many ways and use beer as a bright spot to make the world and our glass a happier place. I'm talking to you today in my home right here from Lyons, Colorado, right out that window that I'm pointing at. If I walked less than 10 minutes, Greg, I'd be at the original Oscar Brews Brewery in Lyons.
Wow.
And Juice is the brewer there. I brought him some eggs the other day, and he gave me some beers. Nice. And, great things are going on. Down the town over, Berthoud from Lyons, if you guys know Berthoud, Colorado, City Star Brewing is very prolific. And I keep using this example because I went through it personally, where I ordered beer on their website to give them a heads up. Then they packaged my beer, and I had the opportunity on that website to also beer it forward and buy a beer for somebody else. Then when you go to buy your beer, they have on the outside of the brewery the glass where you're like on the street and there's a tent and you're getting your beers and their staff's wearing masks and keeping everybody social distance appropriate. They just have these Post-it notes all over the front of the brewery, and it is people that have bought beers for each other and written little notes, and there's hundreds of them. So when City Star has somebody come by to pick up their beer, they can snag that note that they got and get their beer, or when they reopen, get a beer, at the bar somehow.
I love all of those things, and creativity is what we're all looking for as people are pivoting to survive. And I think probably the real pill that's going to help everybody is just reopening, and reopening safely, obviously. I've got this video. I think it'll work. Jay, just put it on in the background. It's a really cool American Craft Beer Week video that you guys put together. And I mean, look at the fun that they're still having. That warms my heart.
Yeah, I mean, with American Craft Beer Week, which is a national beer week that's been around since 2006, coming into this year, we had already planned to reimagine it, new logo, new look, new feel, but we completely had to update the theme and the messaging to really be appropriate to these kind of COVID crisis times. And so we knew that we could capitalize on the positivity of craft brewers. And so we wanted to keep it fun and light. And yes, there's sobering stats out there, and many breweries are making such hard decisions, and there's been many layoffs. And it's troubling times on breweries paying their bills. But man, you look at this video, and you can go to AmericanCraftBeerWeek.com to see it if Jay can't pull it up.
I'm playing it right now as you speak.
Yeah, so you guys will see it, but it just is incredible where breweries from almost all 50 states and state guilds as well just sent us doing a little jam, TikTok style, handing beer one side of the screen to the next, and it just goes all the way across the country, and it's super fun and light and bright and puts a smile on your face.
I've got the goosebumps just watching it and hearing you talk about it, and unity, showing the unity that craft beer brings together. I mean, who doesn't like to sit down and have a beer and just come together with whoever you're with? It just brings people together. On a federal level, what kind of lobbying needs to happen right now? Is loosening regulations, or what's on the forefront of what you guys are looking at?
So tremendous amounts going on. And if you really want a deep dive, go to brewersassociation.org and our COVID resources, where we are forthright with many of our published letters to regulators and the federal peeps in charge. That is published on brewersassociation.org, so you can read it. Right now, we're lobbying, or at least talking about advocacy for needs on craft brewers on a multitude of levels. Everything from worried about the CO2 shortage, and so getting kind of a coalition of multiple organizations across different industries that are affected by CO2 shortage in different states. Not all states will be affected, but the idea, the fact that ethanol has less demand right now, we're driving less, and ethanol production certainly leads to the production of CO2 that's then packaged or cleaned and packaged and then brought to on-premise establishments, as well as many other industries for packaging food goods, as well as beer, right? Service, it's not just pushing it through the lines, but it's carbonating it. So CO2, we want to see excise tax really finally become permanent. Federal excise tax relief is something we've been working on for many, many years. We got tax relief for 2 years, and then it was up, and we got it extended for 2020. So right now, the breweries that are open are in an environment where if they make less than 60,000 barrels of beer a year, they're only paying $3.50 per barrel of beer produced. That's actually still a significant amount for small producers. And then when that relief is gone, it will go back up to $7 a barrel. And for breweries over 60,000 barrels to a certain amount, the relief is down $2 from $18 to $16 a barrel. And it adds up the more you produce. So we want to see excise tax forgiven for this year, one, and two, have that excise tax relief definitely made permanent. And then we're working on a whole boatload of other things with other coalitions and organizations of like-minded points of view and perspectives, where we can see the feds give some type of relief to drive people back to on-premise in a comfortable way. And when they are comfortable to do it, having tax relief in certain approaches for the beverage and hospitality industry. And all sorts of creative programs from treating say if you go to your local establishment and you're on business, where you're traveling or where you're doing business because you're not traveling out of state anymore, but you're still doing business, giving some relief for the amount on that you would pay to that establishment. And when I say that establishment, we're talking about the whole restaurant industry in many situations now needing relief. And in that case, brewery tap rooms as well as brew pubs certainly qualify for the same type of needs that they would benefit from if you're going to go ahead and give restaurants relief as well.
Wow. A lot to unpack there. I'm going to actually have to rewind that one and go back and watch that again. Always just a wealth of information. This is Julia Herz and the Brewers Association. A couple more things if you have time.
Sure.
Fantastic. So we look here on a local level, and one of the things that we're seeing is patio space. And I know a lot of breweries have some really cool killer patios. I'm hoping that's going to bridge into there. But allowing that space to get larger, is there any advocacy for that type of thing? We're seeing it with restaurants right now, too.
Yeah, there's definitely advocacy on multiple state levels for the interest to give customers comfort to sit outside. Mm-hmm. And so expanding that footprint, is you're exactly right. There's a movement afoot, so to speak, to get that done. It'll be on a state-by-state or maybe even county-by-county level. But the summer months are coming up. If we can give a little relief and create some buffer by giving more space to breweries and tap rooms where customers can sit outside and, we are a little bit safer, according to some research, then why not get that done so you have the ability for beer lovers to be able to go to an establishment where maybe they wouldn't if without that outdoor seating.
For sure. It's a lot of people's favorite time of year, but fall in Colorado, it's kind of synonymous with the Great American Beer Festival. I love it every year. I go there and I give you a hard time, hunt you down, and we do a little interview and we drink some beer.
It's always great to see you there.
It's fun, and it'll break my heart if it doesn't happen, but still on track, Julia?
Yeah, I mean, right now we continue to watch everything in the environment, and there's many variables, but Great American Beer Festival, year in and year out, has been very strong. And certainly stay tuned for when we release the ability for people to participate in our great annual event.
Yeah. How in the heck? That is like an event that the minute that's done, I bet you're working on the next one. Probably working on the next one before the event's even done that year. It takes a lot to ramp that baby up, and it's a machine. But how do you plan for, like, selling to how do you sell a spot to a brewery? I mean, there's so many things involved with the planning right now. You rent the space at the convention center. Is it still going to be at the convention center? Are you going to pare it down? What are the things that you're navigating through right now in order to ramp up for that?
Well, the Great American Beer Festival is multiple events, as you said, and then there's many people that do satellite events outside of it. So it really has kind of become its own beer week in the fall in Denver, which is super amazing. It's the preeminent competition in the U.S., where if you are a commercial brewery and you win a medal from the Great American Beer Festival, it means if you got that gold, that you make the most, the top example style-wise by the judges. Couple hundred judges, usually 300 judges plus, for the Great American Beer Festival competition, and thousands, 8,000 give or take entries. So that is its own event. And then you have the Great American Beer Festival, which has continued to be a bright spot every year in Colorado, and navigating that is many years in advance to get the space, to get the hotel rooms. And then to get the brewers to plan in Colorado and outside, because many breweries, it's the American Beer Festival, come from out of state. And so just getting them to sign up, there's sponsors that get involved. We traditionally have the paired event, which is a whole nother event within the event. We had Winter Grass Fest last year, and musicians on stage, which was amazing. Really great. It's almost like going to a concert. Things to navigate and being discussed, and we certainly look forward to being able to share what we will be doing with Great American Beer Festival. But it is year in and year out one thing that has continued to lift up the entire U.S. beer community.
Faux show. It truly is. Are people making arrangements and booking their hotel rooms and coming in? Are people on track for it? I bet excited too.
Yeah, I mean, people have it a date in their mind, and we keep getting asked, and so it is something that we're navigating, and we'll continue to navigate it until we're ready to make announcements on where we're at.
Cool. Last word. What do you got?
What do I got? I have water in my glass. I need a beer. It's
Yeah.
been a big American Craft Beer Week day. I've been on Zoom calls from all over the country. I just think everyone, back to maybe if we can close with American Craft Beer Week, hashtag give craft beer. If you want a little smile on your face and you're a beer lover, just go to Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook and look at what's going on with hashtag give craft beer. And we want you guys to commit to give craft beer. And you do that at American Craft Beer Week. It costs nothing to put your name in and say if you're buying a beer for yourself or somebody else. But we want you to commit to giving craft beer this week and, frankly, all year long.
I'm going to do it, be the first one, and I think I want to do what that dog's doing right now. Take a little nap. What's your dog's name?
There's my little wingman right there, just hanging out. Look at that, sweetie. I didn't realize she was in the shot.
Yeah. What's her name?
It's exhausting sitting there listening to me on calls all day.
Definitely. I know. Good dog. Stay off the couch. You don't want to be on the couch. Julia Herz, thanks for joining us right now. No relation to you, but guess who's up next? His name. It's spelled the same, too. It's Herz, right? The way you spell your last name?
Yeah.
God, I hope so. That's what's been under her face
Next
for
guest
the
is
20 minutes.
Next guest is Larry Herz.
Well, whoever the hell he is, I hope he's a great guest.
She said, whoever the hell you are, I hope you're a good guest. Yes, he is a good guest. Thanks for spending some time with us today, Julia.
All right, right back at you. Bye, Greg. Bye, Jay. Take care.
Bye. We'll see you.